Hi, my name is Chris. Welcome to my channel. And today I'm going to do something that I have never done before on YouTube. I am going to do an unboxing of a plasma cutter. And it's just one of those cheap ones you can get on eBay from China. And I paid $300 for it. That's all it is. So I'm going to unpack it, see what's all in the box, and do a couple of test runs and see how it works. So I ordered this on eBay probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and I'm quite impressed at how quickly it arrived. So let's see what we got here. All right, we got the manual, and this is for an LGK40 plasma cutter. It's the cheapest one I could find because really I don't really know if I have any big need for a plasma cutter, except for every once in a while. Okay, so it says gift. Let's see what's in here. Okay, so these are the consumables. And the bracket. The hose clamps and adapters. Alright, so this is the air filter. This is probably the pressure regulator. Nope, just the pressure gauge. Put this over here. Alright. Here's the ground clamp. And it's about 10 feet long. It's pretty good. Copper points. It's like a stainless steel connector here. And here's the torch. Okay, so they just used some zip ties to clamp the little switch. That's a bit cheap, I guess, but again, for $300. How that's gonna work? Because it turns easily, so I'm not sure if that's gonna be a problem while I use it or not. And you can see there's just a zip tie here and one here. Alright, and this one looks to be about 12 feet. I'm just holding it up to my my countertop area here. Yeah, it looks like a 12-foot hose. Alright. I'm not quite sure what kind of plug this is, but I won't be able to use this for my 20 amp. I'll have to get a new one. Alright, let's have a look at this. So the front has a light for on and OC, the current meter, a little knob, feels nice. where the hose connector goes, the ground clamp. Alright, so the back. Here's the 220 volt input, and I selected that. A lot of them on eBay, you can actually select them, choose 110 or 220, or even switch between the two, but I opted to go with the 220 because I have plenty of good connections in my shop here. Off and on switch, the gas, and the ground. Not quite sure where this ground is supposed to go grounded. Anyways. Okay, so the first thing I noticed, I need an extra clamp, an extra hose clamp to attach the high pressure hose on this side over here, and they did not supply one. Now, I do think it said that they supplied 2, but I need 3, which kind of sucks. Now, I have a kit, so that's not an issue, but I do wish they had put in an extra 2-cent clamp, or maybe even 2. So we'll go grab one and put one on. The other thing it also did not come with is a connector to the actual hose. So I'm going to grab one from my kit, but that would have been nice if they had included one of those. Okay, so I don't have the proper connector. I need one that's a little bit bigger, and then I would have used female to female and put them in like this, but I guess I'm gonna have to go buy one at the store. Okay, so I just come back from the hardware store. What a rip-off! So this is the plug that I need, and they only had one left. Is $18 for this stupid plug, because this one here is not going to work. I hope this is going to work. And I needed to get some adapters. Now this is 3/8 inside, and this pipe is 5/16, but I think I can make it work. So it actually looks like this little insulator is sticking out too much, and when I used a wrench, it just, I heard it, bring it a little closer. I heard it kind of crunch up a little bit of the insulator here. That's sticking out too much, and now I think it works. So I'll give that a try by hand. Maybe if I put this one back on. There you go. Okay, I'm going to plug this in and see if anything blows up. Nothing so far. Okay, so I got everything set up. I have not tried this yet. We'll see what happens. Whoa, holy crap. Whew, that was bright. I think I've got to get me some different goggles here.
Wow, this actually works really well. I'm quite impressed. Now this is only 18 gauge steel, but still. Alright, so I'm going to bring you in. So, this actually works super fast. Holy cow. Okay. So we cut nicely and quite quickly. I'm going to try it a little bit slower this time. Okay, it definitely cuts cleaner. Let's go up to 1/4 inch. Okay, so this is 1/4 inch. Okay, so it's definitely fighting. I'm going to crank it up to 35 amps. I'm actually quite impressed. Not sure if it will focus or not, but this is the piece here, 1/4 inch, and man, it's definitely faster than with an angle grinder. I'll go up to 40. Let's see what happens. So it does have a lot of dross, but there's no way I could have cut that out with an angle grinder in such a short time. So yes, I'm very happy so far. Okay, so this was 1/2 inch, and it definitely took a little bit longer, but with practice, I'm sure this is gonna be perfect. This, to cut from here to here to, well, what, less than a minute. So I'm actually quite pleased with this. Okay, so here's an update on the plasma cutter. I ran into some problems there yesterday when I tried it.
It just the arc wouldn't start. I saw lots of sparking up at the tip, but it wouldn't start. So after I did some measurements, I found out that the tip was actually not quite the right dimension. So here, I'm going to take this apart and show you what I mean. So the way that it works is that the positive pole gets power onto this brass ring, which makes contact with the tip, and then the swirl ring actually insulates the tip from the electrode. So this electrode is actually not supposed to touch that one. So as I screw it together and hold it in place with the ceramic insulator here, when I pull the trigger here on the side, it creates a high voltage spark between the electrode and the little tip. And that makes the plasma start forming, and it shoots out the plasma to the front. And once this plasma beam makes contact with the metal, then the high amperage low voltage starts cutting. And so the problem was that with these, the gap between the electrode and the cap was actually too small. And so it never had enough chance to form that spark. So what I ended up having to do is take this electrode and take it on the grinder and just grind a little bit off of the tip. That gave me, and I measured it, that gave me about 45 thousandths of an inch of a gap between the inside, like the end of the cap there, and the electrode using the swirl ring here. And once I put that started making it a lot better. The other thing that I ended up having to do is up the pressure of the air. I had it quite low, actually. I think I had it at about 40, 45 psi. And I ended up having to go all the way up to 72 psi, which is what they said in the instruction manual. So once I did that and fixed the little tip, it actually started working a lot better. Now the trick that I ended up having to use, and again, I had never used a plasma cutter before, and this is probably a little more difficult because it's cheap, but what I ended up having to do is if I cut it like this, I had to make contact between the tip, and I found it worked best because with the side of this little nozzle here. So if I point it and I go and I touch it like that, and then it would start the actual plasma arc, and then I can twist it and start cutting. And I found that works the best. Now, I still got quite a bit of slag, and that's probably because I'm not going fast enough, or because my amperage is not high or low enough. And that's, I'm sure that's going to get better as I get better at practicing. But the hole up here, it's not focusing, the hole in the nozzle is still nice and small, whereas the ones before, here's one that I had before, you can see the difference. It's just completely worn out. So, day 2 review, it looks good. I think I'm going to end up having to put some double-sided tape on the back of this, because this is really annoying. It keeps turning the trigger as I hold it. So once I fasten this down, I think it'll probably work a little bit better. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it, and I hope this helps someone else to make a decision. I'm probably not going to use this plasma cutter a lot. Figure maybe once every couple of months for a few cuts. I could still use the bandsaw and the angle grinder for anything that's really small or whatever, but for thin sheet metal, curvy material, it works really, really well. And once you get up to 1/4 inch, it's a little bit slower, but even still, as soon as I have to make a curved cut, this is going to make it so much easier than the angle grinder. So anyways, I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.